Hello, I'm Mr. Duda with STEM with Mr. Duda. And in the second part of my GPS series, I'm going to be showing you how your GPS sensor actually sees exactly where it is on Earth. If you haven't watched the video on latitude and longitude yet, check that out and then come right back. Otherwise, stick around. All right, so here we are. It's a pretty cool website. This is Spacebook. I'll put the link in the description below. Here we've got this is the United States. You can just drag around and look anywhere you want. This is Europe. You'll see these things moving all over the place. Now, interestingly enough, I can actually click on each one of them. These are satellites. These are satellites. Now, what's the big difference between the colors? That I can't tell you. It might be their height, it might be their speed, but satellites are these things that we have sent out into space, and they are moving around the Earth at all times, and they do different things. Okay, different things. Now these are artificial satellites I'm talking about. There are natural satellites, which would be like the moon, which naturally goes around the Earth. But I'm talking about artificial satellites that we've created. And the cool thing is you can click on each one. You can see who owns it, why it's being used. So this is a communications satellite. If I click here, let's see what this one is. Maybe the colors have to do with, yeah, it looks like, well, at least this one, this red one is China. It says it's non-operational. I click on another one. Oh, that's USSR, non-operational. But it was for navigation, and we'll get to that in a minute. And the amazing thing is there are, and this might actually, the colors might be who's in charge of it. I'm not sure. All right, so I'm just going to go back to the United States. You'll notice there are a lot. There are a lot all around the Earth. No matter where we go, there are a lot. And realize this is 3 dimensions, right? So they are out here in space. Pretend we're out here in space. I'm floating out here in space. And if I zoom out, you'll start getting an idea of exactly, maybe not exactly. There are a lot of satellites out there. It is absolutely amazing. It's so much that hopefully my video is not freezing. But and remember, this is in 3 dimensions. They are very tiny in the scheme of things, but there are a lot of things floating out there in space. And there are many different reasons we have them out here. Over here in Mission, it will filter out the satellites for certain things. So maybe they're used for communications, like making a phone call across the ocean, or maybe internet, early warning systems. Maybe there's a missile coming and it warns us, or observation of Earth, looking back down on Earth and learning about the weather, or learning about temperatures, or a bunch of different things. I talk about that in a few of my other videos. Maybe it's an engineering one, but the one we're going to focus on today is navigation. Is navigation. Okay, so navigation. If I click on that, you'll notice there are still a lot of satellites. And so going back to the view of Earth, let's say I'm here. Let's say I'm right here on Earth. I have a sensor in my cell phone. Now my cell phone has green on it, so it might disappear in the. Oh, good, it actually shows. So I have a sensor in my cell phone. You have a sensor in your cell phone, I'm sure. You have a smartphone, and it's called a GPS sensor. And what that GPS sensor does is it is able to sort of see into the sky and see these satellites. Now, if it sees one satellite, it doesn't really know where it is, right? Say you're walking around and I don't know. I live by Chicago, right? So I could be driving around and I could look and I could see the Willis Tower, the Sears Tower, the tallest building in Chicago, and I can see it, and that tells me, hey, Chicago's that way. But I don't know if I'm north or south or west. I know if I was east, I'd probably see the lake, but I don't know what direction I am. So I need a couple other things to look at to give me a better idea of where I am. And so your GPS sensor will look for as many satellites as possible. And there are apps that you can look at how many satellites it's finding. And once it finds enough satellites, then what it can do is it starts saying, you know what, I know where I am. And it depends on the program, and it depends on sort of how accurate you want to be. The more satellites your GPS can find, the more accurate it's going to be. You might have seen accuracy level. Maybe it's up to 10 feet down to 2 inches. Probably not 2 inches, but the more satellites that it can see in the sky, the better opportunity it has to figure out exactly where it is on Earth. And that's how, when you're running something like Google Maps or anything like that, it can show you exactly where you are. It's because your GPS sensor is able to see those satellites in the sky. So if you're indoors, it doesn't work that well. It can sometimes see it. Now, it's not actually looking at it. It's receiving signals from those satellites. The satellites are sending out information, including time and what they are, which satellite they are. And then your GPS sensor can figure out exactly where it is. It can even find out its height, depending on the angle that it's seeing these at. And then it can figure out its exact latitude and longitude. So remember, GPS, a lot of my students, when I talk about GPS, they actually think it's the program in their phone that gives them directions. I know we talk that way, but GPS is Global Positioning System. It's all the satellites that we have out there in space to help us identify where we are. And it's the sensor in the device receiving that information, giving us an exact location. Then you can use your navigation software, such as Google Maps, to give you directions from one place to another. So that's the very basics of how GPS work. I will try to make a video on how the actual sensor works and the information that it gives. But hopefully that was a good, somewhat intro as to how it finds its location. So please subscribe, share this with anyone that you think would find it meaningful, and have a wonderful day, everybody.